Hotel staff, what is the worst room you have had to clean? Ah yes, my time to shine. To date. This was about a year and a half ago. These people had rented 2 rooms adjacent to each other. If I recall correctly, they also had pets, 2 dogs. They had stayed for at least 4 months. It got to a point where they were not able to keep up payments or wouldn't respond to phone calls. So then comes the day to check the rooms. It was like an episode of Hoarders. Storage bins full of clothes and random junk. A couple of new in-box appliances. Dog fesses in the floor. Old food left out in the open. Trash bags. It made me gag. I had to use a face mask, the kind used for painting sanding, with filters and a snow shovel to clean out that room. Because it was summer, and the amount of trash and food. Of course there were maggots, flies and gnats everywhere. Those 2 rooms were out of commission for at least 2 weeks. Needed regular shampoo, vacuuming and bleaching, air freshener and bug sprays, the whole time. One thing this job has taught me is that people do not treat hotels as a second home. They treat them like disposable silverware. My time to shine, definitely lol. I had a room where 2 guys ejaculated on almost every single item in the room over a week span. Lamp, chair, pillows, door knobs. It was strangely systematic and I'm not sure what their goal was, or if it was some ducked up scavenger hunt. Gross. Ugh. Not a cleaner, but did a brief stint in hotels on a working vacation in Jasper, Alberta as reception and central reservations agent. There was one particular case involving a kitchenette suite and a hockey team. They used the oven to bake their own shit. The smell was me and the boys baking our shit at 3:00 am. The one in which the wife shot her cheating husband and his mistress. I need that story time. Chief. I was not on duty. I just had to get rid of the sheets and repaint the walls. AWW man. Obligatory, not a cleaner, but when I was younger a hotel needed some guys to help clean out all the old bed frames, dressers, etc. And I asked, probably phrased differently, this exact question. The story goes apparently a lady of the evening would book a room about once a week and guys would pile in and out of said room. They kept giving her the same room because of the condition she left it in. So as far as he explained, she would always light these obnoxiously huge candles leaving wax everywhere. Don't know how it did not set off smoke detectors. Probably opened the window and invite said dudes in. Apparently she was down to clown in whatever preference said dudes had, so they would routinely find broken bedposts, bondage likely, the occasional suspiciously polished highly odorous bedpost, bodily fluids of every variety nearly everywhere, and apparently in one instance footprints on the ceiling encrusted in no easy way to put this shit, as well as climbing the wall up to it. Dunno if the dude was into like a scat foot job suplex finisher or what, but the worker said he had never seen anything like it, and the room was basically thrown away and scrubbed for quite some time before reopening it. That apparently was the final straw, where they basically said get the duck out before life. That combined with drug paraphernalia accidentally left at the crime scene. Was working at a motel while backpacking in New Zealand. Had an older couple stay in one of the rooms while I'm cleaning one of the other rooms. She stops me and apologizes about a mess in one of the beds. I tell her not to worry, thinking that either her or her husband had wet the bed. It happens. I grab some disposable gloves and march in there to take care of it so we can get it in the wash as soon as we can. I was not mentally prepared for the massive shit that was staring back at me when I entered the room. All my resolve had melted away and I was dry heaving in the parking lot while a few other people were packing up their cars. Luckily we started work there early and I had not eaten anything yet. There was no attempt to clean any of it up by the guests before they left, and the manager headed in there and took care of it. She was a trooper. Your manager was a good manager. For real, the line don't make people under you do jobs that you would not be willing to do yourself rings true here. I think a lot of times I have had to do a task I was unsure of, not unsafe, just unfamiliar. The boss supervisor would work with me on it for the first few times to make sure I did get it. Back in my housekeeping days, the worst was a toilet absolutely covered in blood. The bowl was red. The seat was red. Blood dripping down the sides. I don't know what happened on that toilet, but we had to call in a biohazard cleaning guy. The lady staying in that room complained about the service to boot. Hopefully it was not a miscarriage. Hopefully it was. Otherwise it was probably bowel cancer or explosive decompression. I had to clean a room with an older couple who were clearly swingers. They left their suction cup dildo on the shower wall with shit dripping down it onto the shower screen ground. Worst part was me tripping over a whip that was left on the floor and hurting my knee. What I will never understand is why people leave their sex toys in these places. They are expensive. So this happens mostly with our stayovers rooms we touch up when they're still staying in the room, but usually they try to hide them. But these people had absolutely no shame at all. Practically smacked in the face with a giant dildo the second I stepped in. I'm not hotel staff, but during a remodel my family had to go to a hotel for a weekend. We brought our dog as it was short notice. We ended up having to call room service to remove a vibrator that our dog found under the desk. Found under the desk, said the nervous family member who called room service. Now my parents were laughing their asses off. Worked at Holiday Inn on the beach at Nags Head, North Carolina. Total 20s awesome time of party all night. Work early morning. Crash for sleep by 1 PM. Get up by 6 PM ish for some late sun. And back to party. Repeat. It was a great summer job with a free hotel room. Free meals at the hotel buffet. And all kinds of bars people to hang out with. But the sand. Ducking sand was my sworn enemy. It clogged the toilets, sinks, shower drains, and got everywhere. Every tourist washed their stuff put or shook it out. No amount of vacuuming would get it put of the floors, carpets, or even the beds. Never got the damn sand out. Every person would complain about how dirty it is when they found sand in their room. Geez, the hotel is literally on the beach, and you just tracked a ton of sand in. Now your room has sand in it. A hurricane smited the hotel years later, and they built more vacation homes. And I bet those damn houses have sand in them too. Right. Just stay away from the younglings. It is all coarse, and rough, and irritating, and it gets everywhere. Not just the men, but the women and children too. Not me, but a former partner of mine. She was a housekeeper and had to clean a room where the residents left out a bunch of dildos and other sex devices that were clearly recently used and still stinking. They also apparently had left drugs and such out, like needles and pills. She said one of them came back while she was cleaning and offered her $150 to not tell her manager. Did she take the money? I would take the money and the drugs. Not a hotel, but a gas station. We had just closed the store and were cleaning. My coworker yells from the bathroom for me to come in there, which I say no, because nothing good could be happening in a gas station bathroom at 1:0 AM. Turnout plunger was stuck to the wall. Had her very funny, but what my coworker didn't know when they pulled on it was that it was full of shit and the suction release exploded poo all over the walls. Never did figure out how it happened for sure, whether they pooped directly into the plunger or did a scoop. Please don't do this. Worked with a guy for a bit who used to clean the public bathrooms at like provincial parks and the like. He told me one time he walked in to see the word duck largely painted in shit across the wall. I think that happened to be the final straw for him at that job. Back in about 2001, 2002, someone wrote the word eat in shit on the public bathroom stall gents in the Chester House Hotel on the Isle of Man. It is like a sentence. Not mine. Happened to a hotel in my country. A group of teens decided it would be fun to trash the rooms they rent, while laughing happily. Yes, literally trash the rooms, and destroyed several furnitures inside. The best part is that they recorded everything and posted it on Ducking Facebook. Yeah, that made them famous for a while. Not sure about the consequences though. Gotta love the stupidity. I had a very sick guy that shit on every surface in the room, including the heating unit. The bed was a mess of pee spots, vomit, and sheets literally crusted together with shit, piss, and vomit everywhere. The floors, the sink, the walls, the closet, the nightstand not in or on the side of, straight up on top of the nightstand that sat for a full week before he was evicted. I wasn't a housekeeper, but ended up cleaning it to protect my housekeepers from the horror. The smell was unholy, and it took me and a manager that took pity on me 2 weeks to fully deep clean it. It still smelled faintly of poo. He was actually charged with and found guilty of malicious destruction of property. It was so bad. Honorable mention goes to the construction worker that binged on a shit ton of Taco Bell, drank a large bottle of Captain Morgan, puked it all up in a corner, and in a moment of panic and shame, covered the puke pile with Arlenins. The smell of Taco Bell spiced rum vomit was horrible. I couldn't smell or ingest either one to this day. I actually gagged. Meanwhile, I'm eating breakfast while reading all of these. Probably not my most brilliant idea. I was on a work trip with a young guy we had just hired. We were staying in separate hotel rooms, and in the morning he knocked on my door so we could go down to check out. Halfway down the hall he said, "Oh, I forgot something." We walked back down the hall to his room, and when he opened the door I could see that the room was absolutely destroyed. Every piece of furniture in the room was upended. It looked like a miniature tornado had rampaged around the room. He gave me a sheepish look and said I always like to trash the room before I leave. He was fired very shortly after. What a shitty person. Wow. Yeah, I'm sharing my own story on my own post. Sue me. My dad owned a lot of properties in the rough part of my hometown, so we would get some crappy tenants. I was his child laborer and cleaned while he did repairs. Anyway, we showed up to a recently vacated apartment to inspect the unit, and me dead, it was awful. Other than random crap everywhere and garbage towering around what we later found out was the bin, the bugs and smell was terrible, so we had to wear masks, eye protection, and full white suits. I was 11 at the time, so I was rocking my bright pink gumboots with the hazmat gear. The worst part is the bathroom. Basically they stopped paying rent, so my dad shut their water off and they decided to shit everywhere. The sink, toilet, and bathtub were full of human shit and piss. After the water was turned back on, we realized the drains were 100 blocked, so my dad pulled up his rubber gloves and started shoveling shit into buckets and disposing of it via a Portaloo company who knows how to deal with literal human shit. Just moving the first layer made all the other gases waft up, so the smell only got worse. We could not start cleaning until they said they do not want any of the items they left, so the garbage and shit was sitting there for about a week. Plus the time they spent accumulating said shit. I'm an adult now and still do jobs for my dad. I actually kinda love clearing homes. Sorry you had to see that. Bless you and your dad. Not a cleaner, but I have seen the ducked up kinds of shit people do in their rooms when the housekeeping manager asks me to check a room. Or when I go check to see if the guest already left without checking out. Some dude rented a master suite out largest room in the hotel. Proceeded to smoke in the bathroom, put out the cigarettes on the bathtub, throw them out the toilet with his shit, which clogged the toilet, took a shit on the floor, hired 2 hookers that he had to pick up because we did not let them through the lobby, left their dirty pads on the bathroom floor, put out more cigarettes on his room's curtains, threw up on both sinks, that room has 2, smeared some vomit on the bathroom mirror and broke it. When he left, me and a cleaning lady went to check the room and found crystal meth on a little plastic bag under the pillow. Needless to say, he is banned. A guest from Romania hired a hooker. They arrived together, went to his room, only for the hooker to leave 5 minutes later, screaming and asking us to call her a cab. Turns out she had a surprise, and the guest noticed while they were making out, and he touched her batarang. He threw up on her and asked her to leave with the money. When the cleaning staff went to check the room, they saw vomit on the sink, the toilet and the shower. Some guy just pissed the bed. He was a grown butt man. When we charged him for the mattress's cleaning, he acted like it was not the first time it happened. The next day, he pissed on one of the bar's stools. Batarang. Like Batman's batarang. Yeah. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.